who's been controlling you. We call it your life. You are life. This is the outer expression of what we're focusing on, what we give power to. We make it real, like that. We're real. Okay, you and I, we're real. Who we call the supreme being real. Living entities are real. And when you look to see who's been controlling you or controlling your then life, which is your life, but your life expression or what goes on, you have to look at how that happens. And one of what I use, and in my book, Live Your Bliss, I do share the Hermetic axioms, which give us that idea of how this construct, in the sense, or this reality, is created and is maintained. And the thing as above, so below is the second Hermetic axiom. And Hermes also was actually Thoth or thought. Very interesting. Well, I'm a researcher, you know that. And just because I research and share something doesn't mean, in some sense, that I certain things I believe. I know what I know, and you know what you know, and the inner. It's not what you think, or it, you know, you've applied it, it works, and that builds your consciousness, your awareness, your strength. Yes, and by observing and witnessing the obvious, usually, you do know what's appearing in that reality. Okay, and so who is your authority? Who have you made your authority? And it's from those people, authorities, that we want to authorize us. So when they authorize us, they're authoring our life story, or they're authoring how much we or little we experience of who we really are, and all that's possible to us beyond planes and dimensions, who we are. So an author is what we call an authority, because then it says that they get to make rules and regulations for everybody else. Well, okay, that's interesting. And they say, yes, because you're a democracy, you're voting for these people. But most of the people that are doing things are not people voted for, but maybe somebody a voted for person then hired or whatever. But you don't know how many private concerns do things that don't need really any public information on. So what I'm saying is, anyone or anything you're allowing to dictate to you what's possible for you is not your friend. And what happens, I was talking with someone, and they're working to heal their body, and their challenge before is all they used for that was the information that they got was, you know, the standard information that's taught in, you know, what do you call it, medical schools, or the standard that's taught in any school as to what's true or what's not true. And for me, I don't want anyone else to authorize my life other than myself. And I'm talking about myself be with my divine partner, our unity, our unified experience of love, our reciprocal love relationship. And what gives other people the authority over anyone, or you over anyone, usually our words, our statements. And instead of, what we want to do is just perceive words and statements as sounds. And there's letters that are there. But these have all been given meaning and emotion too, and intention and beliefs. This is how we generate and create, in a sense, a false reality, or a temporary virtual reality. And there's the true divine reality that is our true divine home. And the challenge is we have all these overlays of information to make you take a form inside. It's to line up in formation, you see. And we take all this, and these become our authorities. These become our rule makers. These become those who tell us what we can do and what we can't do, who we are and who we're not. And so then most people will take that because they have an idea or the thought, or it's been suggested, that other people are working for your welfare and well-being, especially if they're in this so-called government. Now the word govern means to control, and ment is mind, mensa. So that's what that word, to government, is to control mind. That's what the word means. So when you look to see who you're giving authority to, how come you don't find out for yourself? And to do that, you have to do research in places people tell you not to go. People tell you do this. All these authorities are people who are giving their narrative. They're giving their story. They're telling you this, and they're speaking with authority. Say, I tell this, and when I read or I look, because I'm researching, where they say, this is what your future is, this is what it's going to be like in this year, and this is... Really, no one knows the future unless what they're doing is making it happen in some way. And that's what you have to know. And that's the challenge of going to anyone who's going to do a reading on you. There was one person, she's really sweet, she was in my one of my programs. And yet, when I'm there to serve her, she always wants to do a reading on me, give me a psychic reading. I don't want it. I'm not doing that on anyone. I don't want that. Because it's usually that other person. I mean, there might be something good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. But yet, there was a woman at an event I did where I was speaking, and she came up just crying, and she looked terrible, just drained and wasted, that some very prominent psychic had told her how miserable her karma was. She'd never have this, it's never going to happen. It made it all bad, you see, which wasn't the truth about her. So this is the key, and we'll do more on this topic. But who is your authority? Who are you listening to? What suggestions are you taking for yourself, you see? And what you do, because then you're authorizing yourself, you're authoritizing yourself to build your reality based on those suggestions.